Thank you so much. I appreciate that warm welcome. And hello, everyone. I'm going to start sharing my screen now. I've had so much fun reading all the chat messages from where everybody is. So just excuse me, bear with me. It's been so much fun to hear where everybody is. But all right, so everyone should be seeing the front of our PowerPoint here, and I'm so excited that y'all are here today to listen to me present about this topic. It's a very, very personal topic of mine. I love it so much, and I hope that you guys will enjoy it as well. So before we get started, I am just going to go over our session's objectives. So by the end of the session, we should all be able to explain the Universal Design for Learning, UDL framework, interpret the updates to the new UDL 3.0 framework, organize a professional development plan for UDL adoption, and evaluate some tools that are available to build a universally designed online course. And it sounds like a lot, but it's not going to be, I promise. All right, so what is UDL in the first place? It's an educational framework that combines learning theory and cognitive neuroscience. Understanding how the brain learns was essential to developing this framework. UDL can work to provide flexible learning environments and spaces. The current UDL 2.2, we're now in 3.0, if you can believe that, is described as a set of principles to provide educators with a structure to develop instruction that meets the needs of diverse learners. And the UDL framework is defined and mandated by the Center for Applied Special Technology, CAST. So here are the main guidelines. And just to let you know, these main guidelines have stayed in place during the 3.0 update. So these are going to be the ones that you're going to see all the time. So we've got multiple means of engagement, multiple means of representation, and multiple means of action and expression. So I'm going to open up the chat really quick so I can see what y'all are chatting about. And let's just do a quick icebreaker kind of thing. Put in the chat message or put in the chat which guideline you're most interested to learn more about. Which one piques your interest? Okay. Ooh, getting so many. Oh my gosh, it's happening so fast. Engagement. Okay, wow, that's awesome. Awesome. Engagement. Everybody loves the engagement. I like the engagement one too. Actually, my favorite is representation, but engagement is a close second. So that's awesome. Thank you. So there are so many of you interested in at least one guideline to explore. That is super awesome. Keep putting them in there if you'd like to. But before I talk about what we're all here for, which is UDL 3.0, I like to discuss those connections between UDL and accessibility, because we know that UDL was inspired by the Universal Design movement, which focused on your physical spaces. So how a room is set up, or a parking space, or automatic operating things for doors. But later on, UD, Universal Design, was expanded to the digital world with the development of Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG for short. I am not going to cover the WCAG guidelines in this presentation, but I did list them here on this PowerPoint for you. You can see that they're perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. And you can remember them by a really cute acronym called POUR, POUR. But it's not the focus of this presentation, but I think that those guidelines are super important as we're moving into those new accessibility regulations in 2026 and 2027. But I like the way that this Venn diagram describes universal design and how these two things connect, right? It's a very good visual here for it. I always like the visual of an umbrella. So like the universal design, I talk with my hands, so bear with me. A universal design is like a big umbrella, right? And underneath the umbrella, you'll have like water droplets, and your water droplet would be one for WCAG and one for UDL, and how they are all connected. And it kind of likes that visual so you can see how they all play a key role in developing something that's fully universally designed. Okay, so here it is. This is what we're all here for. UDL 3.0, right? So it's finally here. Past began their important updates to UDL in July of 2024, and they used a variety of research topics as well as understanding what the educator needs through research analysis. So you could say that UDL 3.0 is rooted deep within the research, but was not created with AI. The new plan the new UDL 3.0 plan plans to be a resource to guide the design of learning environments and experiences to reduce barriers and fully honor and support the learner. I really love the way that that definition is set up this time for the updates to 3.0, right? When we talked about in the last rendition, which is 2.2, they talked about just meeting those needs of the diverse learner, but now they're focusing on the whole learner, this kind of like holistic approach to learning, the whole learner, everything that the learner would require. So that's really nice. That just adds to the fact that there's this great shift in more universally designed learning environment. And so during CAST's research, and they conducted a lot of focus groups, and they met with a lot of different educators. They developed some themes and they noticed some gaps within their framework. Some of the themes include like addressing bias as a barrier to learning, promoting collective learning, and the shift to a more learner-centered language. Okay, so here is the brand new graphic organizer for UDL 3.0. Looking at it here, right off the bat, you can see that the goal of UDL is learner agency. That is reflective, resourceful, and action-oriented. But the big noticeable difference on this graphic organizer is the use of the word design instead of provide. You remember formerly in the last guideline organizer that they would have provide multiple means of engagement or provide multiple means of representation. Now it's designed for multiple means of engagement and designed for multiple means of representation. But let's take a look at each one of these guidelines a little closely and see what the changes are within these guidelines. So the first guideline on this organizer, which was everyone's favorite, was the design for multiple means of engagement. And this guideline now emphasizes the importance of forming learner identities, fostering a sense of belonging, and promoting joy in the learning. So a new consideration within this guideline is designing options for welcoming interests and identities, which focuses on choice and nurturing joy and play. That's this one right here. The next guideline, my favorite guideline, nobody picked it, but that's okay. I'm not upset or anything. My favorite guideline, representation, designed for multiple means of representation, focuses on representing different identities and perspectives and valuing multiple ways for knowing and interpreting knowledge. A new consideration within this guideline is designing options for building knowledge. That one's located right down there, right? This focuses on connecting prior knowledge to new knowledge. And then the last but not least, and some of y'all's favorite as well, is design for multiple means of action and expression. And that's highlighted here at the end in this blue color. This now focuses on all forms of communication and expression and creating a more inclusive and accessible learning environment. A new consideration within this guideline is designing options for interaction, which is right here at the top, and that focuses on providing multiple methods of response, navigation, and movement. And that's pretty much the new UDL 3.0 framework in a nutshell. So, how do we continue to explore the power of UDL and exclusive teaching at Pasco-Hernando State College, PHSC? I am so glad that you guys asked that question. At PHSC, we have developed some initiatives to help foster inclusive teaching. The first initiative was the UDL work group, developed through the e-learning committee. So this group was a combination of some staff and faculty to review ways that we could develop a more universally designed courses. You can think of this work group as our original UDL warriors. Two main initiatives that came out of that work group were the adoption of the You Do It tool and the required professional development training on UDL. I will discuss You Do It in a minute, but I was able to see how powerful this training really was through my doctoral research. So let's take a look at that. So here is the professional development on UDL here at PHSC. This was a 5-week professional development course that was a part of faculty's online teaching certification, which they would renew every 3 years. This course discussed the framework guideline by guideline and looked at some tools and strategies to incorporate for inclusive design. Since I love a good takeaway with professional development, I had the participants create a plan of action for implementing UDL into their online teaching strategy. That involved creating and sharing a UDL checklist to help them prep each semester. I have included some of those examples on the next slide for you, so we'll take a look at what those checklists look like. Now, let's discuss the course's impact, which was the main focus of my research. I do defend later this month, so please send your positive vibes my way. I need them all. Send them my way. So, prior to the training, my faculty sample, 50% of my faculty sample had some knowledge of UDL, which isn't bad. I really thought it was going to be a lot less because UDL is not really typically talked about in higher education, but a good half of them had some knowledge, which was awesome. After the training, I conducted focus groups with my faculty sample, which produced some interesting research themes. The most popular one was how the course developed an inclusive teaching culture at PHSC. Faculty began to wonder how to support those with cognitive challenges and how UDL can be a major addition to the formal review of textbooks and course materials. But the most important thing that this course really did was got the faculty talking about UDL accessibility and taking action. I suggest introducing this framework to your faculty to help build your UDL warriors, even if it's something as simple as watching this webinar and writing a reflection or their own plan of action, because every instructor is different, just like our students. Okay, so here are some examples of the UDL checklist created by the participants in the training course. You can see that each section focused on a different guideline and the steps and strategies used to ensure the guideline is met. What I loved most about this activity was the variance in submission. We would have some that were super detailed, like the ones that you see here. And then we'd have some that were sort of basic as just used as just a reminder. This is why I said every course and every instructor is different. This is something they created themselves. So it really focused on what they needed to meet those UDL guidelines. And you can see some of them also had like a space for additional resources. So they were able to take course resources and add them to this page here and refer back later, which was really nice. Okay, let's do a quick pulse check. Using our Zoom's reactions, there should be like a thumbs up or something like that. Give me a thumbs up if you've heard or used a tool like You Do It before. Okay, couple of thumbs. Healthy. Couple of thumbs, yay. Oh, I got a heart. Awesome. Okay, good. There's a handful of you that kind of know what You Do It does, which is pretty awesome. So if you haven't ever seen this tool in action or seen its power, you're going to today. You Do It stands for Universal Design Online Content and Inspection Tool. Say that 3 times fast, right? This tool was developed at one of our great 12 state universities, the University of Central Florida, UCF. It is now fully supported by the company called City Labs. It's also cloud-based, which is super helpful when you want to grab data on what people are checking. But basically, in a nutshell, what this tool does is the instructor or course admin accesses UDoIT in the course, clicks that scan button, maybe waits 5 minutes or less, and gets a complete report on the accessibility and usability of their whole course. And when I say the whole course, I mean the whole thing, even your files. UDoIT is also an amazing teaching tool, as it gives you a reason for why to fix the noted error or suggestion. And it takes it a step further and even categorizes errors and suggestions by potential accessibility issues, such as visual, hearing, or cognitive. How awesome is that? Instructors access UDoIT directly in our LMS Canvas or in your LMS Canvas if you use Canvas, and they make their corrections directly in the system. UDoIT Advantage, which is another step up, takes things even further by taking that pesky, inaccessible PDF, because we all love making PDFs accessible, and converting them into a Canvas content page to easily make it more accessible. I told you I wouldn't lie, this tool has the power. Now, if you use a different LMS, Blackboard Ally is another great option. Ally works with Moodle, D2L, Blackboard, of course, and Canvas, and it's a great addition to have in your UDL toolbox. This tools like these give faculty the power to take control and ensure that each student can succeed in their class. Okay, so here is a quick example of what the new UDoIT scorecard looks like. As you can see, my course accessibility score is a 93%. So it looks like I have some items to adjust. When looking at my results even more closely, you can see that my high packed issues on this scorecard are about 99%, but my medium impacts need some remediation. They're at about a 79%. These could be a combination of errors and suggestions. I explain errors and suggestions like this. Accessibility errors need to be fixed. That means that there is an issue within the content that will make usability for a student with disabilities a challenge. Accessibility suggestions need to be reviewed, but do not necessarily make the content a challenge for a student with disabilities. I also suggest with tools like these to look at both errors and suggestions and adjust them accordingly. At the top of the scorecard, you will see these clickable tabs. They're not clickable right now because this is a screenshot, but they're clickable in the system. And these allow you to toggle between different areas in UDoIT. In the You Fix It tab, this is where you can see all your errors and suggestions and fix them directly in the course. As you make changes and UDoIT, the changes will also be made in your course in real time, which is super awesome. I love that. No longer do we have to download something out, check it, run a checker, save it. Okay, you just do it all in there. It's so great, I'm telling you. The course review course files area is where you can go to see where all your courses files were reviewed for accessibility, right? You can see in my scorecard that I have one file issue that I need to adjust. I am going to go ahead and demonstrate how the UDoIT Advantage tool works, so you can see how you can request a different file type for your files. So you can see that after this little presentation is over. An important reminder about the UDoIT tool or tools like UDoIT is that they do not certify that your course is accessible, but it provides you with the tools and the knowledge to fix the issues and suggestions to make your content more accessible to all. I always like to tell other designers or other instructors that are working with UDoIT that even if your scan gives you a 100% accessibility score, I would still work to check the accessibility along the way. That way, you know for a fact that you're not running into any issues there. So I am going to demonstrate the Advantage tool in just a minute. But before we do that, before I demonstrate the Advantage tool, I have put together some great resources that were used in this presentation, and I believe that IDN will send out the recording of this presentation, so you'll have access to these resources to read up on things like CAST, UDL, UDL 3.0, and so much more. This is my takeaway for you all. And last but not least, I just wanted to say thank you for listening to my session, and I hope you feel more inspired to incorporate UDL and build your UDL mindset. If you have any questions outside of the presentation, my email is located there on the slide. But for right now, does anyone have any questions on UDL 3.0 before I take a look at the Advantage tool? I think I have some things in the chat. Let's see. Oh, lots of good luck defending. That's so nice. All right, so we're gonna share my course. So now we're looking at my course. The course that I used for the presentation was a live course. This is my sandbox, so that's why it looks like the accessibility is off because you put a lot of random stuff in your sandbox. But as you can see, this is kind of like what the tool looks like. You have your home page. You can do a complete rescan of your content by accessing it, the three little dots here, and doing your full rescan. You can also download a PDF of your results too, which is really great. And then the scorecard does a really great job of breaking things down based on high impact issues, medium impact issues, and low impact issues. You can see that I have a lot of errors in my sandbox, but like I said, that's okay. Nobody really sees it, but I should probably look at those. A lot of suggestions. And of course, some file issues in my course summaries. This kind of gives you an idea of in a quick nutshell what you're getting into. You tab over to You Fix It, and this is where you can go to fix any issues that you may have. You'll notice that the errors are signaled by the red exclamation point with the circle, and then the suggestion is more of this italicized light blue eye. So that'll allow you to tell the difference. You can use the filter tool over here to kind of filter out the content type, the impact type, the issues that may need to be resolved. Maybe you want to see how many issues were actually fixed. And then of course the severity. So you can see the errors are listed first, suggestions are listed second, errors are the most severe to fix, right? And so you can do this filtering, like if you have me, like you have 88 errors, and I'm just going to need to filter out and just find the errors for a quick fix. If I hop over to our course file, review course files tab, this is where you can see the files in your course, and you can see that I got a couple of accessibility, not a couple, all of them. All of them are flagged for accessibility issues, but I'm actually going to use this vegetable soup recipe as my demonstration. And you can see that this was last updated in 2017, so we probably know that accessibility is not on. But it's a PDF, and I don't know about you, but I don't love making PDFs accessible. So what I love to do in this instance is I love to click the review button, and I love to suggest an alternative format. And the one that I like to suggest, the one I like to request most is the Canvas page, because it's just easier for me to make accessible because I like Canvas's accessibility tools. So if you have something like that you can do, if you use Blackboard or if you use D2L and there's built-in accessibility tools that you like to use in your LMS, I highly suggest just converting it over to that kind of an LMS page, HTML file. But you can do a wide range of things, like a digital book. You can go ahead and ask for that auto-tagged PDF, so it'll fix the PDF for you. I don't know if it'll fix the title per se, but it'll fix the PDF for you. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to request a Canvas page of this, what is this? A vegetable soup recipe. Should only take a few minutes. We will see. UDO has been having some processing challenges today, aren't we all, right? Whether you're still on spring break or you're coming back from spring break, I'm still having processing challenges because our spring break was last week. But as you can see, it's taking its time. So, but what'll happen is it'll just develop a Canvas page for me. And then, oh, it's ready. Wait, I lied. Woohoo. Now can I see? replace file with page. But where can I go to view the file? Yeah. So now I want to go and I want to replace the file with the page. Oh, but first I want to view it. Let's view it before I forget. Ah, there we go. And so here is the page. It's kind of off kilter, so you might have to do some updating to it, and you can do that in the Canvas Rich Content Editor. You see I've got only one accessibility issue, which is probably the image. I can give that a alt text. Ooh, I can't spell. I can't spell when people are watching me. There we go. And you can adjust the content accordingly, how you would want to see it. And then you can click save. And then what you'll do is you'll go back to the UDoIT information where you pulled that up from before. Hold on. Bear with me, technical challenges. Yay, technology. And you'll just replace file with page. It'll give you a look at that page for you, and you'll just say replace file. There you go. And that is how you offer alternative formats with UDoIT Advantage. So that's all I have for today to share. But I'd love to stick around and take any questions that anyone may have. So free to open up the chat or type them in. I have the chat open.